All right, when last we left our hero, he was lamenting that he had not had the opportunity, the good fortune of dying at Troy in front of all of his friends and family. Now we're going to focus in on the storm a little bit more. Talia jactantis tridens aquilona procella velad versa ferret fluctus quad sidere tollet. To him, this dative present active participle is referring to Aeneas. So it's to him tossing out such things. This is taken as a verb of speaking. To him ejecting, elocuting such things. A gust, a strident gust. Stridens is a sound word, so make a wind sound. Howling, a howling gust from the north wind strikes the sail. Adversa also agrees. Let me see, what case is it? Velad versa ferret. It's nominative. That's a short A at the end, so it agrees with procella, and so that those all three agree. So this is a howling gust, full on, or something like that. Adversa is always a difficult word for me to translate because it's an adjective. It means turned towards, literally, right? Adverto means turned toward. But it functions adverbially most of the time. So you won't necessarily want to say a gust turned toward the sail strikes it. You might want to say something like a gust strikes the sail full force, or full on, or straight on, something like that. Fluctus quad sidera tollet, and raises in the waves to the stars. Big storm happening. Franguntur remi, the oars are broken. Tum prora vertit et undis dat latus. Then it turns the prow and gives its side to the waves, gives the flank, the side of the ship. Do you know the boat word for the side of the ship? I don't. Hull, maybe? Okay. That's not what you want to do. When you're in a storm, you want the prow, the nose of the ship, to be towards the wave, so it'll go up and down and not fall over. But when it's turned to the side, the wave comes and rolls the ship over, and then all the people fall out, and that's bad. In sequitur cumulo praeructus aquae mons. There follows, and this is, you can take this almost backwards, a mountain of water broken off at the top. So this is like a way of describing a wave. Imagine a mountain, and then imagine the mountain is made of water, and then break off one side so you get that kind of wave, curvy wave shape from the top of it. He sum in fluctu pendent. These men hang on the top of the wave. His unda de hiscens terrin ter fluctus aperet furet aestus arenis. Before them, to them, this is a dative of reference, to them a wave, gaping, opens up the earth between the waves. So you get two wave words here, so you got to do something other than wave for both. Unda is like the undulations of the sea. So this is like the surf, and this could be like a wave. All right, so let's try that. The surf gaping before them. I'm just using that ethical dative, that dative of reference that way. Gaping before them opens up the sea, but opens up the earth between the waves. So the waves are so big and built up that the troughs between the waves are so shallow that you can see the ocean floor. Not actually that implausible in the Mediterranean, I am given to understand. The storm rages, or the aestus could be storm, it could be the tide, it could be all the stirred up water. So the stirred up water or whatever rages with the sand. So there's all the sand from the bottom of the sea mixed in with the raging waters. Tris notus abreptas in saxa latentia torquet. Tris, not That's tris, and it's accusative plural, and it agrees with abreptas, or rather abreptas agrees with it. So it is feminine, and it's feminine. Why? Because it's tris naves. So 3 ships. Notus is the south wind. In the last video I misspoke and called it the north wind. That was wrong. It's the south wind. The south wind. 3 ships snatched away, twists into hidden rocks. And then we get a little diversion about these rocks. The Italians call the rocks the altars. So take this part, medis quae in fluctibus, and imagine that that's kind of set off by commas also. And also imagine that quae is like there. The rocks which, and then you also have to imagine that there's a verb, because there isn't one, so it's plural, so make it sunt. Quae in medibus fluctibus sunt, which are in the middle of the waves. Okay, none of that's actually there, but pretend it's like that. The Italians call the rocks, these hidden rocks that the south wind has just smashed these 3 boats on, call the rocks which are in the middle of the waves the altars. And then a positive. A huge spine in the top of the sea. That's like at the surface of the sea. So big rocks that jut up from the bottom of the ocean so that it's almost met with the surface of the sea, so ships can crash on it, but you can't really see it. That's why they are saxa latentia. Tris eurus ab alto in brevi et sirtis urget miserabile visu. 3, another 3 ships. Eurus, the east wind, from the deep into the shallows and reefs presses. So the east wind presses 3. The south wind twists 3 ships. The east wind presses 3 ships from the deep, pushes 3 ships out of the deep water into the shallows and the reefs. Pitiful thing to see. Ablative supine, very Vergilian phrase there. Inlidit quae vadis ad quagere cingit Aeneid. So when the east wind pushes these ships into the east, into the shallows and into the sands, it also inlidit, and it strikes them on the shallows. I'm trying not to say shallows again. Strikes them onto the, I don't know, you come up with a word, into the sandbars, and surrounds them with a pile of sand. So it's like once they get into those shallows, the waves, which are all tossed up and mixed together with sand, just fill them up with sand so that they can't float anymore. Bad news again. Unam, quae licios fidumque vehebat oronten, ipsius antaculos ingensa vertice pontus in pupum ferit. 1 ship, which was carrying the Lycians and faithful Orontes, that's a Greek accusative singular for Orontes, before the eyes of the man himself. That intensive pronoun there is referring to Aeneas. Before the eyes of the man himself. A huge, remember we've got this direct object here and we're wondering what's going to happen to it. So 1 ship, before the eyes of the man himself, a huge sea from its summit crashes or strikes into the stern. Excutitor pronusque magister volvitur in caput. It strikes out, so it's like throws this guy out of the boat. Here's this, it's plural. Is struck out. Here's the subject, magister. the pilot, the guy steering the boat, the pilot is struck out and face first. Wobitor is rolled onto his head. So he struck out of this boat, so he falls out face first. That's the opposite of, let's see, if you're prone, it means you're laying on your belly. If you are supine, it means you're laying on your back. So he falls face first and is rolled head first, headlong, you could say, into his head, it says literally. So face first, sploosh into the sea. Ast ilam, so that's one ship, right, carrying that guy. Ast ilam, and that one, that another ship, right, 3 times a wave in the same place twists, leading it around in a circle. So 3 times some kind of wave comes and takes the ship and just spins it around in the same place, driving it in a circle. So that's like a whirlpool-y kind of wave. Et rapidos vorat aequore, vortex, and there's the whirlpool. And a swift whirlpool devours it into the sea, into the plain of the sea. Ad parent vrari nantes in gurgite vasto. That's one of my favorite images. It's so gruesome. Ship goes down, sucked down into a whirlpool, disappears. Ad parent, there appear here and there swimming guys, people swimming in the vast whirlpool. And the gurgite is such a great word for a whirlpool. I said whirlpool for vortex, but come up with your own other whirlpool word if you know one. So these guys just start floating up after the boat goes down, along with arma virum and the arms of men. It doesn't say and though, so this is what do you call it when you don't have conjunctions? Asyndeton, right? So there appear, and then we're going to get several subjects. Swimmers here and there. This is actually an adjective that I'm translating as here and there. It says rare swimmers. People swimming here and there. The arms of men, that's virorum. Tabulaeque, and boards, planks from the ship. Et Troia Gaza perundos, and Trojan treasures through the waves. So all of these things, the treasures and the planks from the ship and their arms and the people, just become flotsam in this whirlpool after the ship goes down. Yam walidam yam walidilione nawem yam fortis acati et qua vectus abbas et qua grandios aletes vicit hiems. And now the strong ship of Ilioneus, now that of brave Achatus, and the one on which, so that's qua, and that's like a locative ablative, I guess, so you could imagine that it's in qua. And the one on which Abbas, that's nominative singular and masculine, he's a dude, was carried. And the one, again, on which Grandi was, it means old, it's like of great age, Aletes, was carried. The storm overcomes. Did that make sense? One more time. And now so we get, this is the subject, here's the verb, and before this, in the previous 2 lines, we're going to get a bunch of direct objects. So the storm conquers, right, overcomes the strong ship of Ilioneus, and now the ship, again understood, of brave Achatus, and the ship, so you have to understand some other accusative here, like unam, maybe the one on which Abbas was carried, and the one on which old Aletes was carried. This is vectus est. even though that's not there. The storm strikes, okay, or hits, overcomes. Laxis laterum compagibus omnes accipiunt inimicum imbrem remisque fatiscunt. With the, so that's ablative absolute, with the, what do you call these? Seams of the sides loosened, so all of the joinery of the ship is starting to come apart. With the seams of the sides of the hulls loosened, they all take in the hostile water. Imbrem is really rain, but here I think it makes more sense to just be like the water from the ocean. And they fatiscunt rimis, they break apart at the seams. Okay, guys.